David Quinn here. We'll be taking off very soon. But first, we can't travel anywhere without something to travel in and something to travel on. You know, boat on water, train on tracks, airplane on a cushion of air. Yep. Because just like these bubbles, the machines we take off in can fly only because of air. Now let's face it, air is invisible and rather empty looking. But when the wind is blowing, we remember it's there.
You can't see wind.
But you can hear it. You can see it blow things around. And you can feel it.
And you can have fun with it.
You can even travel on it.
Wind is air, moving air.
And even though you can't see it, air is a fluid.
Sort of like water.
It flows. It has weight. It takes up space.
It behaves in certain predictable ways.
Air. You can't see it.
But it's definitely there.
Air is with us all the time. It's light, but it weighs something. And it changes. What happens when you heat up some air? Well, do try this at home. Take a large, thin garbage bag and fill it up with some air. Then seal it up. Now, I've already got one ready. You can use the sun as your heat source. I'm going to use this special lamp. You can just put your bag outside. And then slowly, as the air inside the bag starts to expand, hey, liftoff! Lisa found out more about how this works on a larger scale.
You have to get up really early in the morning when the air is cool to fly a balloon. In the mountains of Colorado, I went on a flight with Joyce Vanderhoff, who's an expert balloonist.
Straight back. Slowly, slowly, okay. Got somebody on the front on that side?
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay, just lift her straight off.
Oh!
Okay.
This is heavy.
Now what we need to do is put the burner support on. We'll need some help with this. Okay, that goes right in that position. This just needs to be here to hold the burner up in place. This is our burner.
Now, what does this burner do? What does it burn?
It burns propane,
Yeah.
and that's what creates the heat inside the balloon.
Propane is a type of gas.
Right. Be about 2,000 degrees coming out of the burner.
2,000?
What we're doing is capturing the hot air, the warmer air, inside this big fabric balloon. And by capturing that air and heating it about 120 degrees warmer than the outside air, that's what causes the lift, and that's what makes us able to fly. Okay, let's move it out about 5 feet so we can get the rest of the gear out of the truck. Yes, it's very heavy. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Okay, we won't be using these ropes today because we're going to launch the balloon rather than tether.
How come this is made of wicker? Does it make any difference?
Well, to help reduce the weight of the basket, the wicker's very shock absorbent. Okay, let's streamer the balloon out.
Oh, this is heavy. How much does this thing weigh?
150 pounds. Okay, all the way out. We're going to use this to fill the balloon with cold air. We're going to turn the burner on now.
Joyce, how big is the balloon?
It's 7 stories high and 55 feet in diameter. I want to make sure there's no one above me, because if I launch and someone's sitting above me, we're going to have a little mid-air collision, which we don't want to do. It's okay if balloons come in alongside of me, but we can't have one right above me. Okay, now it's very important to determine buoyancy. I don't want to pop up very fast. So when I say weight off, I want no physical contact with the balloon. No one leaning on it, holding on to it in any way. Everyone let go of it. Okay, let's have all weight off. Okay, we're still a little bit heavy. Weight back on. I need to put some more heat in. Weight off the balloon. Everybody let go. Okay, we're flying.
All right. This is great. What are you pulling down?
I'm opening the parachute in the top of the balloon. People put weight on the basket. Come on over and hang on to the basket.
What does that do, letting cool air?
I'm letting the hot air out.
So you let the cool air and the hot air out and the balloon just deflates?
All the hot air is going out the top of the balloon. It wants to continue to go up, and I'm letting it do that by opening this big valve in the top.
Yeah.
We still have a bubble of heat up in there, and that'll find its way out the top, and pretty soon the balloon will be entirely collapsed.
Let's take a closer look at what makes a hot air balloon rise. Before the burner is lit, the air is the same inside the balloon and out. When the burner is lit, it heats the air inside the balloon, making the air molecules move faster and faster. They bump harder against each other and against the balloon wall. The pressure increases, so some air gets pushed out the opening at the top of the balloon. Now there's less air inside, so the balloon weighs less than it did before. The balloon floats up.
Hey, wait for me!
So, you can heat up a balloon filled with air, making it lighter than the air around it. And you can hitch yourself to that balloon and sail off with the breeze. Or you can fill the balloon with something else. See these? What's inside? Well, there's air in this one. That's a mixture of gases. And there's helium in this one. It's also a gas. I'd let them out and show you, but they're both invisible. Helium is lighter than air. If you take a balloon and fill it with helium and just let go, it'll take off. But if you want the balloon to hang in the air, you add a little weight to it. See? Now it's called neutrally buoyant. I call it balanced. Helium is great for filling balloons, and it's also used to fill blimps. Hi. Trini took a ride in a blimp.
This is about as close as we'll be able to go.
Could I learn how to fly this?
Yeah, this wheel. The wheel makes it go up or down. Go ahead and move it.
Makes it go up or
No, up quite a bit. Now use both hands. No, pull up on it.
this way?
Now we don't need to go down the water.
And how do you make it go from side to side?
Okay. From side to side is your feet. You measure your left foot down. It'll gradually drift to the left. As you measure your right foot down, it'll gradually go back to the right. Your feet work like a rudder, like in a boat.
What's the difference between flying a plane and flying the balloon?
The main difference is in the way that it handles. This is very sluggish, very slow, like a canoe, trying to fly a boat. I'm sure that's how they got the word airship at one point, because it handles more like a ship, where an airplane reacts very quickly, mainly due to its speed and size. An airplane's flying 100 miles per hour, we're only flying 35.
Ever try to fly a kite on a day without much wind? You know what happens, right? Kites only fly on windy days. That's because of this. Paper. Limp. Now watch. See? Try it. You see, you need air blowing along the top of the paper to create lift. There is much more to know about flying kites, as I found out when I visited Japan. It's a Sunday afternoon on a beach near Tokyo. The local kite club is busily preparing to fly its kites. Japanese kites are big, colorful, and need a lot of wind. Today there's little wind. It's a bad day for Japanese kites. Kaori and I came to the beach to meet Shizuru and a friend of hers, a man who flies a different kind of kite. Shizuru's friend is Dr. Ito, a physicist whose hobby is looking for ways to make better kites. Kites that can fly with very little wind and that are stable.
Looks like you guys are having a hard time.
The kite Dr. Ito was experimenting with wasn't very stable. It wouldn't fly at all. But then he added long ribbon tails to the kite.
Whoa, up it goes!
With the addition of tails, the same kite that would just spin around before now flew steadily.
it's stable?
A tail makes the kite stable by adding resistance, known as drag, to the kite. That added resistance between the kite and the air around it balances the kite and prevents it from spinning. But the tail makes the kite heavier, which means more wind is needed for the kite to fly. Is there any other way to give the kite resistance?
There are more ways to make it stable. He's going to show us one of the others.
Now, a tail is the usual way to make a kite stable, but Dr. Ito's knowledge of science has helped him invent a better kite. A kite that's light and stable and can fly in a very little wind.
He's going to stick it to the kite.
Instead of a tail, he attaches a fin, called a stabilizer, to the kite. Dr. Ito thinks the fin will make the kite stable and allow it to fly, when other kites can't even get off the ground.
As compared to the kite size?
Oh, up it goes.
The stabilizer is his invention, Dr. Ito's invention. This is the first time for him to put stabilizer on the Japanese kite.
And it worked. Congratulations. It was a bad day for flying Japanese kites, but for Dr. Ito's kites, a light breeze was all we needed. Let's say you want to drift along on the air, but without using fire to heat up the air, and without using helium. And you also want to stay up a really long time, without an engine. Well, you're going to need a plane with really long wings, and you're going to have to know a lot about hot air and where to find it.
A sailplane is a plane with no engine. Even without using an engine, a pilot can stay up in the air for hours at a time using only the natural force of moving air. Karen Windus is 18 years old and has been flying sailplanes since she was 14. Sky Sailing Airport in Fremont, California, Karen prepared me for my first flight.
Hey Karen, is it all right that the plane leans on one side like that?
Yes, it is, because the sailplane's only designed with one center wheel. So therefore, on the ground, it's not perfectly balanced, so it kind of leans over on its side. And here's the cockpit.
What's this?
This is called a stick. If you watch the wings, you see it depresses one aileron and raises the other.
What's an aileron?
An aileron, if you look over there, you can see it moving up and down on the wing. And that helps the wing turn. So when we push it to the side, the wing drops down. Then we point the nose in the direction that the wing has dropped. And therefore we have a turn. That's how we turn our plane.
And what's this?
Well, this is how we get off of tow from the power plane that's pulling us up into the air. When we pull this, we release from tow. The tow plane does not release us. We get off ourselves. Right here, we have a variometer. This is the most important tool that a soaring pilot could have, because when the little needle jumps up above the zero, that tells us that we're in lift and we're climbing. And when it goes down below the zero, it tells us we're in sink and we're sinking. And it tells us how fast we're sinking and how fast we're climbing.
Now I understand how you control the plane, but how does the plane stay in the air without an engine? Don't you just sink or fall all the time?
Well, we're always sinking when we're up there. It's sort of like skiing down a real gentle slope. We're always sinking a little bit, but it's not very noticeable once you're up there. It's a real gentle glide back down to the ground, unless we find lift.
What's lift?
Well, lift comes in three forms. It comes in thermals, ridge lift and atmospheric wave.
Okay, what are those?
Sometimes if you see a hawk and it's soaring around with its wings outstretched without flapping and it's going up, that's a thermal. It's in a thermal. It's like a warm air elevator. It's solar power. The sun's rays heat the ground unevenly. Sometimes if you put your hand on the ground, you can feel it really warm. Now that ground is giving off heat, and that heat rises up into the air. And when we come in our plane, we're coming through, that's when our variometer jumps above the zero. And it tells us that we're in lift.
And you said there's other kinds of lifts as well?
That's right. We have ridge lift, which is when we have hills, and we have wind blowing against those hills. As the wind hits the hill, it goes up to get over the hill, and then it goes back down once it's over. When we take a glider, we put it where the air is going up and over the hill.
And what other kinds of lifts are there?
We also have atmospheric wave, which is a long word, but it's fairly simple, and I'll show you a picture of it. In California, we have mountain ranges called the Sierras, which are fairly high mountain ranges. And up aloft, way up high, we have winds that are always blowing. And when they hit the tops of these mountains, it kind of deflects the air in waves, like that. Go ahead and pick up the wing and hold it level. I'm going to push down the nose. Now walk forward towards me with the wing.
Okay.
And we'll turn the plane around.
A powered plane is used to tow the sailplane into the air.
Okay, Hopi, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the front seat. Karen can pilot the plane from the rear.
How you doing?
I'm okay, I'm fine.
Good.
This is great. Wow. So we're climbing, because you can see that, what is the name of this?
The variometer.
The variometer.
Mm-hmm. We're climbing about 500 feet per minute. Okay, we're about to release now. So I'm going to look around and clear myself.
Can I pull it?
Sure you can. Okay, go ahead and release. Hold the
Okay.
release. Woo!
So the tow plane goes off to the left and we go off to the right.
That's right.
I bet this is the closest you could ever get to being a bird.
That's why a lot of pilots get into soaring.
Uh-huh.
Because it's free, it's uninhibited, you don't have an engine. You're working with the air rather than just plowing through it. See that hang glider down there? It's ridge soaring.
It's catching the updrafts that are coming off the
Right,
ridge.
as they're going up and over the hill.
Wow, this is really beautiful. I feel like I'm not in anything. I feel like I'm just up in the air.
Oh, I know.
Whoa. So it looks like we're spiraling around the left wing.
I know.
How did you start to get interested in flying?
Through my parents. I've grown up around airplanes and in airplanes almost. My dad's a pilot and so is my mom. And so I guess it just kind of runs in the family. Things are sure different from the air, huh?
Yeah.
Whole new perspective on everything.
Don't you ever get scared not having an engine?
Never. I am more scared in a power plane than ever would be in a glider. Mainly because engines can quit on you, they can run out of fuel, all kinds of things. And when an engine quits on a power plane, the power plane essentially becomes a glider anyway. And except for one problem, it's not designed to be a glider, whereas this airplane is.
There we go! Woo! Whoa! coaster.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster, except more fun.
Yeah, it is more fun.
Look at this. Look at the ridge.
Hi, people!
I can get up in the air and pretty much forget about a lot of my worries. Just concentrate on doing my flying and not have to worry about a whole lot else. And it's a fun way to escape, just to go up in the air and just get away from everything. Turn in. Coming in now. This is called our final approach. This is when we're looking at the runway where we're going to land. Now we're down.
Well, that concludes today's flight. Next time you see a bird in the air, or next time you're in the air, check out that cushion of air. Of course, you won't be able to see it, but you'll know it's there. And thanks for flying 321 Contact.